If you're dealing with someone arrogant, self-centered, and manipulative, getting them to understand your perspective or fight fair can be an uphill battle. If the person in your life is egotistical, controlling, or tries to gaslight you, I will help you beat them at their own game, whether or not they're a narcissist.
Keep reading to learn how to take your power back.
1.
Go limited or no contact if you can.
Expecting a toxic person to change can take a toll on your mental health.
In some cases, it's best to end your relationship, especially if they're abusive.
Unfortunately, that's not always possible.
Consider your unique situation to figure out what's best for you.
If you're in a romantic relationship with an abusive person, plan your exit before you leave. Make sure you know where you will stay and don't tell your partner you're leaving until you're gone so they can't stop you. If your parent or friend is toxic, you might stop taking their calls and texts.
Alternatively, you might talk to them once a week or once a month.
If your coworker is toxic or manipulative, limit your interactions with them to business tasks.
2. Stay calm when they're trying to upset you.
Some people actively try to rile you up so you act out. It's all part of their game, so they win when you get upset. Do your best to ignore their rude comments and criticisms. Additionally, take control of the situation by calming yourself down.
Try counting to 10, deep breathing, or picturing your happy place.
You could also repeat positive affirmations to yourself, such as, I am calm, I have peace, or the universe is on my side. You might also imagine the person in a ridiculous outfit to make it easier to laugh off whatever horrible thing they're saying to you.
3. Use we language to get them on your side.
Egotistical people only care about one person, themselves. In their mind, they're never wrong, and they couldn't care less about what you think. Fortunately, you can trick them into going along with you by using the word we instead of I or you. We language can diffuse fights and get them to do things. Beat them in a fight by saying things like, we seem to have gotten off track. Let's change topics, or we both care about this a lot.
Maybe we should move on to something else.
Get them to do something by saying, we need to finish this report by the end of the day, or we have a big mess to clean up in here.
4. Get praise and compliments to neutralize them.
Flattery is the trick to getting what you want from an egotistical person. They already think they're better than everyone else, so you don't need to worry about overinflating their ego. Simply smile and point out their best qualities. If you can't think of anything, it's okay to use generic compliments because they likely won't care.
You could say,
you're so smart. You always seem to know what to say. Great job today.
5.
Say something nice before you give criticism.
People with fragile egos completely lose it when you point out their flaws.
Unfortunately, it's sometimes necessary to deliver criticism, especially if you work with this person. To soften the blow, compliment them before you tell them what's wrong. It also helps to word the criticism in the most positive way possible. At work, you might say something like, you're the best analyst we have here. Your reports do a great job at covering the facts, but we'd like more details to round them out. If this person is your partner, you could say something like, I love the paint job you did in the living room. I can tell you've been working super hard on the bathroom, but I think the trim needs an extra coat of paint. If you have a narcissistic relative, you might say, you're so kind to watch the kids. They loved watching a movie with you last time, but I was hoping you could skip the second pack of candy this time. 6.
Let them feel accomplished to minimize drama.
Bragging about your achievements could set them off. People with an inflated sense of self want to believe they're the best and will do anything to one-up you. There's no need to put yourself down to please this person, but avoid rubbing your successes in their face so you don't have to deal with their drama. If the person is your partner, focus on how your achievements help both of you. You might say, we did this together, or I'm so happy we're doing so well. If your relative is narcissistic, you might not tell them directly about your accomplishments or good news.
Let them learn about it through the grapevine. With a coworker, don't brag about promotions, new assignments, or achievements.
If they start trying to top you, just say something like, sounds cool, or that's awesome.
In most cases, they'll feel validated enough to move on to a new topic.
7. Trust yourself instead of buying into their lies. Don't let a manipulative person make you doubt what you know. Controlling or manipulative people will try to gaslight you into thinking that you misunderstood something or remembering things wrong. They may also just outright lie to you. Beat their game by believing your gut and trusting in your own perceptions. When they start gaslighting you, respond with something like, I understand you see it that way, or I respect your opinion.
Usually, this will shut them down. 8.
Ignore them instead of calling out their behavior.
There's usually no point in confronting a manipulative person. Unfortunately, this will often only escalate the situation.
They'll say you made it all up, all while remaining as cool as a cucumber. It's so frustrating to have to deal with them, but you can neutralize a lot of their toxic behaviors by ignoring them. Manipulative, dishonest people can only fool people for so long, so you don't need to worry about exposing them. At work, you may be tempted to report a narcissistic coworker for lying or insulting you. They'll just try to turn things around on you and prolong the drama. Don't let them suck you in. Similarly, your manipulative relative might be spreading rumors to create problems between you and other relatives. If you confront them, they'll only deny it and start more conflict. A manipulative or controlling partner might criticize your cooking to make you feel bad about yourself. They're only going to double down if you confront them, but they'll lose interest if you brush off what they say. 9. End arguments with a vague response. Egotistical people will never admit they're wrong, so arguments just escalate. Because they're so arrogant and self-centered, it's impossible to get them to own up to their mistakes. They simply won't do it. Save yourself time and energy by refusing to argue. It's the fastest way to shut them down. At work, you might say, I hear you, or I understand your point. If you're talking to your partner or relative, you could say, okay, or cool. Ask about their interests to change the topic. Self-absorbed people love to hear themselves talk. They're also less likely to criticize you if they're monologuing about a favorite topic.
Use this tactic to neutralize a narcissistic relative, coworker, or acquaintance.
Try to pick a topic that interests you, too, so you're not bored.
Say something like, "You're practically an expert on the space program.
I was hoping you could tell me about the mission to Mars and when it might happen.
You seem to know so much about history.
Can you tell me about your favorite time period?
I heard you like to write.
What do you normally write about? I was really impressed by your last presentation. Can you tell me more about it?" 11. Focus on the future so you don't trigger them. Even if they hurt you, it's best not to bring it up.
Chances are, they don't even remember what they did.
In fact, self-absorbed people are actually bad at remembering things because they're so focused on themselves.
Vent to a friend or therapist about how this person has treated you instead of discussing it with them. Let's say your coworker has stolen credit from you in the past.
It's better to just focus on getting credit for your work moving forward. Your partner might have a habit of criticizing you, but pointing that out will only make them lash out more. It's better to redirect them at the moment with things like "we" language or vague responses.
You might have a relative who's really hurt you in the past.
Distancing yourself from them and focusing on your other relationships will make you a lot happier than trying to confront them. If you do bring it up, they'll likely just try to gaslight you into thinking it never happened.
Alternatively, they may try to act like they're the victim. It's just not worth it. 12. Limit what you tell them so they can't gossip. Toxic people can and will use everything you say against you.
They may act like they care about you, but they're just trying to get the dirt.
Limit what you tell them to the bare minimum so they don't have much information to use.
Additionally, never tell them anything you consider to be a secret.
Controlling people might try to use information about your past to make you look bad.
A manipulative coworker could say, "Alice missed a deadline last year, so she probably will again.
I should take the lead on the project."
They could also gossip about you, sometimes bending the truth. They might say, "James told me he hated the gift you gave him," or "Taryn said they might not come to Thanksgiving this year."
Maybe they just don't like your cooking. 13. Set boundaries with them to protect yourself.
Explain the behaviors you will and won't accept from them. Then, give them consequences for what will happen if they disrespect your boundaries. If they violate your boundaries, follow through on the consequences you set. Establishing boundaries allows you to take back your power in the relationship. Here are some boundaries you might set. If you yell at me or call me names, I'm going to leave the conversation. Don't share my personal details with anyone else. If you do, I'm not sharing with you anymore. I'm not going to explain myself.
If you keep pressing me, I'll leave.
I will only offer you comfort and advice about a problem one time.
I won't listen to gossip. Take care of your own needs because they won't. Unfortunately, some people aren't equipped to be there for someone else.
If your parent or partner is self-absorbed, they may be unable to be there for you when you need them. Tend to your physical health by eating well, exercising, and getting plenty of sleep. For your emotional needs, try meditation, journaling, yoga, or deep breathing to help you relax. If your parent is narcissistic, you may really struggle to focus on your own needs because you're so used to tending to your parent's needs. Fortunately, you can learn to focus on yourself, and going to therapy can help.
Build a support system to help you stay strong.
Being around someone with toxic, selfish tendencies can drain you. Surround yourself with people who fill your cup, whether it's family or friends. Identify who you can call on days you're really struggling, and make plans to have fun with people you care about.
You deserve love and affection.
If it's a relative who's giving you trouble, spend more time with your other family members or the friends in your life who feel like family. If you work with a narcissistic coworker, call or text a friend on days they're especially difficult. If your friend has narcissistic tendencies, make sure you have other friends who can offer you the support you need. 16. Resist their attempts to lure you back into a close relationship.
When you start slipping away, they may turn on the charm.
A self-absorbed or controlling person will shower you with praise and make you feel like you're so important to them once they realize they're losing you.
All of this love bombing can make you doubt yourself and your new boundaries,
but it's all manipulation. Maintain your emotional distance from them and keep your boundaries in place.
Make a list of the ways their behavior has hurt you in the past.
When the love bombing starts, read over your list to remind you why this person is bad news.